What if I told you that group rides, the thing every rider dreams of, the ultimate picture of freedom and brotherhood, are not always what they seem? That beneath the laughter, the selfies, and the roar of a dozen exhaust pipes riding together lies a hidden world nobody really talks about. You see, the idea of a motorcycle group ride is seductive. It makes you believe you're part of something bigger, that you're bonded by the machine between your legs and the asphalt beneath your wheels. But here's the truth. Group rides can be just as dangerous, stressful, and mentally draining as they are fun and liberating. Nobody tells you about the subtle peer pressure that creeps in, how the fastest rider sets the pace, and everyone else silently feels forced to keep up. Nobody tells you about the split-second miscommunications, the unspoken ego battles, or the way a single careless move by one rider can put an entire line of bikes in danger. On the outside, it looks like unity. On the inside, it can feel like survival. And let's be real, most riders won't admit this, because saying that group rides are risky or overwhelming feels like betraying the brotherhood. It feels like saying you can't handle it. But in reality, many riders come back from group rides more exhausted than exhilarated, more tense than free, and some never come back at all. That's why this video exists, to cut through the fantasy and tell you the raw, unfiltered truth about motorcycle group rides. Not to scare you away, but to prepare you. Because once you know what really goes on, once you see the hidden dynamics, you'll not only ride smarter, you'll survive longer. 1. The ego trap nobody talks about. Let's start with the biggest poison of group rides. Ego. When you're alone, you ride for yourself. You choose your speed, your lane position, your comfort zone. But in a group, something subtle happens. Your ego wakes up. Suddenly, you're not just riding, you're performing. If one rider cracks the throttle a little harder, your brain whispers, "Don't let him outshine you." If someone takes a corner with a dramatic lean, you feel the pressure to match it. This invisible competition can destroy your natural rhythm. And here's the catch. Ego is contagious. One rider flexes, another follows, and before you know it, the whole group is riding like they're auditioning for a highlight reel. Nobody admits it, but deep down, almost every rider has fallen into this trap at least once. The truth? Ego is the #1 killer in group rides. Not bad roads, not bad weather. Ego. 2. The peer pressure of pace. You've heard it before. We ride as a group, we stay as a group. Sounds noble, right? But in reality, it's a trap. Because what it really means is the slowest rider suffers, and the fastest rider controls the tempo. The unspoken rule of group rides is that nobody wants to be the weak link. So, if the leader is pushing a little too hard, you'll push yourself too. Not because you want to, but because you fear being left behind. That tiny voice in your head says, "If I don't keep up, I'll ruin the ride for everyone." And that's where mistakes are born. You enter corners faster than you're comfortable with. You brake harder than you normally would. You take risks you'd never take on a solo ride. All because the group dictates your pace, not your instincts. The ride becomes less about enjoyment and more about endurance. 3. The illusion of safety. Here's the lie almost every new rider believes. Riding in a group is safer. It feels logical. More bikes mean more visibility, more protection, more people to help if something goes wrong. But the truth? Group rides actually create new dangers. Think about it. When you're riding with a dozen motorcycles crammed together, your margin for error shrinks to almost zero. If the guy in front brakes suddenly, you have a split second to react. If someone swerves to avoid a pothole, you're forced into a chain reaction of chaos. What's worse? You don't just have to focus on traffic, you have to focus on the unpredictable behavior of every single rider around you. It's not just your skills keeping you alive anymore, it's theirs. And that's the terrifying part. Your life is now in the hands of riders you barely know. The exhaustion nobody warns you about. When people talk about group rides, they paint a picture of endless fun, laughter, and bonding. But what they don't tell you is how mentally draining it really is. Group riding demands constant vigilance. You're always checking your mirrors, keeping formation, anticipating movements, making sure you're not too close but not too far. There's no moment to truly relax. On a solo ride, your mind can wander a little. You can enjoy the scenery, hum along to the sound of your engine. In a group, you don't get that luxury. It's non-stop calculation, non-stop stress. By the time you get home, you're not energized, you're drained. And yet, nobody admits this out loud, because saying you were exhausted makes you sound weak. But ask yourself, is a ride truly enjoyable if it leaves you more tired than fulfilled? 5. The false brotherhood. This one will sting. Group rides sell you the dream of brotherhood, the idea that everyone has your back, that you're all bonded for life by your shared passion. And sometimes, yes, it feels real, but often, it's just an illusion. In truth, many riders in a group are strangers thrown together by convenience, not deep loyalty. If something goes wrong, if you break down, crash, or even just lag behind, don't be surprised if half the group doesn't even notice. Brotherhood in group rides is conditional. It lasts as long as the fun lasts, and that's the harsh truth nobody tells you. Real brotherhood isn't found in group rides. It's forged in trust, built over time, not in one flashy afternoon of riding together. 6. The one-weak link rule. A group ride is only as safe as its most inexperienced rider. Think about that. You could have 9 riders with decades of skill and 1 rookie with 3 months of experience. And suddenly, the entire group is vulnerable. That rookie might panic in a corner, misjudge a braking distance, or wobble at high speed. And when they do, it's not just their problem, it's everyone's. Group rides amplify mistakes. One rider's error can ripple through the entire line like dominoes, creating chaos in seconds. And the scary part? You never really know the skill level of everyone you're riding with, yet you trust them with your life every time you roll out together. 7. The social pressure to join. And finally, let's talk about why riders keep going on group rides even after bad experiences. Social pressure. It's the fear of missing out. The idea that if you don't join, you're antisocial, not a real rider, or worse, you'll be forgotten by the community. So, even if deep down you'd rather take a solo ride, you force yourself to show up. You smile, you pose for the pictures, you pretend to enjoy it. But in your heart, you know it's not your thing. And yet, the cycle repeats. Why? Because humans crave belonging, and motorcycle groups exploit that craving. They sell you belonging when all you really wanted was freedom. That's the raw truth about group rides. They look glamorous from the outside, but the hidden dynamics, ego, pace pressure, illusions of safety, mental exhaustion, false brotherhood, the weak link problem, and social pressure paint a very different picture. So now you know, the truth about motorcycle group rides isn't all roaring engines and brotherhood slogans. It's ego battles, hidden dangers, mental exhaustion, and sometimes a fake sense of unity dressed up as family. But let's be honest, some of you watching right now are nodding your heads because you've lived this exact nightmare. And some of you are itching to defend group rides like they're the holy grail of motorcycling. And that's exactly why I want to hear from you. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen on a group ride? Was it a near miss? An ego gone wild? Or maybe you had the opposite experience. Pure brotherhood, the kind of bond that actually felt real. Drop your story in the comments, because trust me, riders love reading about other riders' chaos more than they love riding themselves. And if you've never been on a group ride, I've got one question for you. After hearing all this, would you still join one? Or would you rather ride solo and keep your sanity intact? Go ahead, comment below. I guarantee this will be one of the most brutally honest motorcycle threads you'll ever scroll through.